The following is a sponsored program paid for by First Alliance Credit Union. Welcome to Good Money Moves, featuring Jenna Tobble from First Alliance Credit Union and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome to Good Money Moves. I'm Andy Brownell, along with Jenna Tobble, the Director of Brand and Digital Member Experience with First Alliance Credit Union. Hi, Jenna.
Hey, Andy.
So last week did we get some great information about insurance with Terry Grice, local insurance agent. What are we going to talk about this week?
Yes, well, it is December now, which means it's going to get colder and colder and colder, unfortunately. And everyone who has ever spent at least even one winter or even a portion of a winter in Minnesota knows that you do need to be prepared, right? You're going to want to make sure that you have a shovel or that your snowblower is working. You're going to want to make sure that you have winter gear, coats, boots, gloves, right? All that stuff. You're going to start to, if you haven't already, get out all your holiday decorations. But one other thing that you do need to do that some people maybe haven't thought of is start to prepare financially for winter.
All right. I guess I have never really heard about getting ready financially for the cold winter. I guess, what tips do you have for us to get ready financially?
Yeah. So the first tip is that you want to make sure that your home is winterized. And here's what I mean by that. So take time before it gets too much colder to have your furnace inspected to make sure that it is winter ready. This really ensures that your furnace is running efficiently so that you're not using more, natural gas or electricity than you need to, which can save you a lot of money when it starts to get below zero for weeks at a time. And how much you can save really depends on the size of your home and how much heat you're planning to use. But another benefit of getting your furnace inspected before it gets too cold is you can find out if your furnace might need to be replaced sooner rather than later. So you can kind of start to get ahead of the life that your furnace might be running out of. And so you can start to save some money ahead of time for a new furnace. So that way, when it does finally break down for the last time, you're not going to be blindsided by this needing some funds immediately when it finally does kind of go to crap.
So in other words, create another savings account.
Exactly.
Sending some money in it every month.
Yes, exactly. And just as long as we're talking about another really affordable way to keep your furnace running efficiently is making sure that you replace that filter on a regular basis. They recommend, every couple of months that you want to replace that. And they're very affordable. It's a very affordable way to keep your furnace running well. Because it does reduce kind of the wear and tear on that HVAC system, which usually means it's not going to break down as often or as expensively. It also helps to improve the air quality in your home, which helps you with your overall health, right? So hopefully you're not going to have to go to the doctor as often. However, an even more immediate benefit is that it's going to reduce how much energy your furnace is using overall. According to Energy Star, changing your air filter regularly can reduce your heating and cooling usage by up to 15%, which is some significant savings on that bill that you get every month. So some really simple things you can do to actually directly impact your budget, your spending plan, right? And free up some money for something more fun.
And those filters, you don't have to go buy the expensive filters. If you change them once a month, like you're supposed to, go buy 6 or 12 of them in a pack and put them down by the furnace, and they'll last you, essentially half a year or a year.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go, I forgot to pick them up at the store. And then, next thing you know, it's 2 months without changing the furnace. And I can tell a horror story. I know somebody who bought a home where the person who sold the home had not changed the filter since they bought the home. 4 years.
Yeah. And especially if you have pets and they shed a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you. Though, yeah, you want to have
So that
easy
furnace, while it
ways to
was,
keep it.
yeah, while the furnace was running, that was not pushing out very much warm air at all. So you continually were having to turn the thermostat up because you felt cold, and all along
Yeah.
it was the entire furnace was clogged with lint.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I feel like you're telling my story personally. I've experienced this problem in my home,
Oh my gosh,
unfortunately.
really? Oh,
Yeah,
change the
it's
filter.
amazing. Yeah, change it. So another thing to think about though too is another easy way to save yourself a lot of money in the long run is keep your gutters free from leaves so that it can handle all of that winter runoff that is going to happen. And right, I mean, think about the whole reason gutters exist is to direct water away from your house and prevent water damage at the foundation or on the walls of your house. So if your gutters are clogged, the water is going to seep into your roof. It's going to leak over the side into your foundation, right? And those clogged gutters can also result then in your basement flooding or your foundation cracking, right? So all of these very expensive problems that could be very easily avoided by spending, an hour before it gets too much colder, making sure those gutters are cleaned out if you haven't done that already. Also easy, affordable thing that you can do before it gets much colder is make sure that you're checking kind of the caulking around all of your windows and doors and replace any that have kind of, maybe kind of decayed away. It doesn't last forever. But doing all this can actually save you a lot of money in your heating bills. And also potential repairs, right? Because if you don't have a good seal, if you have those double paned windows, if you don't have a good seal, you can lose a lot of that.
You can also rot out the wood around it and below it.
Yes, exactly.
The seepage that goes on. I've heard that if the caulk is exposed, a lot to the summer sun, that it is often as once a year you should be doing this.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, every house is going to be a little bit different, but it's good to just go around and check. And you may not have to replace a whole window, but maybe just a little, whole caulking of a window, I should say. You may just have to replace a part of it or, just on one window, depending on, like you said, how it's facing the sun or how much wind it gets, or if it gets a lot of rainwater blowing on it or something, right? It's a little bit different, but it's just a good habit to get into that as part of your kind of winter preparations, that these are the things that you're looking for. And then finally, looking at if you have a smart thermostat, well, really any thermostat, you should have one in your home. Make sure you're adjusting it for winter. So according to the Department of Energy, you can save as much as 10% on your heating and cooling bills a year just by turning back your thermostat, 7 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 hours a day. So if you think about when you're sleeping, you maybe don't need it to be quite as warm in your house as when you're awake. Or if you're away all day at work, and you can maybe set your thermostat to be a little bit cooler because you're not there. You don't need to keep yourself warm. So just take some time to kind of program your thermostat to that lower temperature in your home. Like I said, during times when you're maybe sleeping or when you're away at work and your kids are at school and you don't necessarily need it to be 68, 70 degrees in your house. You can maybe get away with, 65 or something. It can save some money that way too.
So you're telling me that if I adjust my thermostat and change my filter every month, I could save up to 25%?
Yes. According to these studies, yes.
Yeah. Well, that is significant.
It is.
Okay, so winterizing my home, obviously a good money move. What else should we be doing to prepare for winter?
Yeah, so in addition to kind of winterizing your home, like we just talked about, think about what you need to do to winterize your car. Here's what I mean by that. This is a good time to check the battery on your car and make sure it has some life left in it. And you can do this at a mechanic's. You can do it at most auto parts stores can test your battery for you. You can also get your car inspected by, a professional if you want to be really thorough. But the reason you want to do this is because you don't want to end up stuck somewhere in a snowstorm or in the middle of winter and have no battery because your car won't turn on, right?
Yep.
So, also check your engine coolant, the antifreeze, like all of that stuff. Just do that before winter starts. So that way, your car is in good shape before it gets really, really cold outside. Make sure that your tires have that sufficient tread left on them. And this is important because it's going to reduce the risk of you kind of sliding around when the roads get really icy. So you're not ending up in a ditch and then having to file an insurance claim like we talked about last week because you didn't have good tires.
And see higher premiums or perhaps even lose your coverage.
Yes, exactly. So some really good preventative steps that you can do just to kind of get yourself in a better position so you don't have to call the tow truck, so you don't have to have your car taken to the mechanic, so you don't have to unexpectedly buy a new battery for your vehicle in the middle of winter. And then easy enough, right? Make sure you've got that good snow scraper. Maybe you kind of have some jumper cables or even a chargeable car starter, kind of an emergency kit in your car this time of year is always a good idea. And again, all this to say that this is really important just to make sure that you're trying to avoid having to end up in a costly accident because you didn't take care of these things, or you slide off the road, or your car just won't start in a cold morning and then you miss a day of work because you can't get there. And not everybody has PTO days that they can use because their car won't start. So these are just some things that you can do to kind of get ahead of some of those winter might happens, I guess I would call them. Make sure your vehicle's in good working order, and again, just keeping up on regular maintenance. I know we've talked about this before on the program too, is just an all around good money move because it's ensuring your car has a long life free of those major repairs that are more unexpected. That you can put a little bit money in up front to make sure it's working well, to keep you in that car longer, avoid those major repairs, avoid situations that are avoidable with a little bit of forethought.
Absolutely. Nowadays, if you maintain a vehicle well, keeping up with all the fluid changes, repairing, the parts that are maintenance parts, you could probably expect 250 to 300,000 miles out of these vehicles today.
Absolutely.
My grandfather was a mechanic his entire life, because he started out as a teenager as a mechanic and worked well into his 70s as a mechanic. And good friends of mine are also mechanics, and they'll tell me that 4 years on the battery, it's an automatic. Don't even don't bother getting it checked, and buy a new battery that's the right amperage for your car every 4 years, and you won't have an issue with dead batteries. And tires, if you're even remotely close on tread in the fall around this time of the year, put new tires on, because you will have a fantastic winter.
Yes.
You'll have brand new tread for a winter.
There's nothing worse than being stuck at a green light and just pushing on the gas because your car won't go anywhere. Worst feeling.
Oh, gosh. Okay. We're talking about good money moves for the winter, getting prepared for winter financially, taking care of the little details that'll make your life a lot better as well. Jenna Tobble with First Alliance Credit Union is here. I'm Andy Brownell, and we will return in a moment on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good Money Moves continues in moments with Andy Brownell and Jenna Tobble from First Alliance Credit Union. This is News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM. We're talking good money moves with Andy Brownell and Jenna Tobble from First Alliance Credit Union on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. Good Money Moves. I'm Andy Brownell with Jenna Tobble, First Alliance Credit Union. And Jenna is offering us some tips on how to be prepared for the winter financially to make some good money moves. How else can we get ready for winter?
Yeah, so this one might sound a little strange, but cooking your own meals is a good money move for winter. And here's why. So in the winter, people, which I can relate to, eat more than they do in the summer. And that drives up your food costs significantly. And it's not just over the holidays either. You go into hibernation mode, and all you want to do is eat and sit on the couch under a warm blanket, and that's
that's what I was going to say. When you're out and about in the summer doing things and you're busy,
yep,
you're nowhere near the kitchen. But in the
mm-hmm.
middle of winter, that kitchen is only right there.
Yes, exactly. So here's why I say this. So cooking your own meals does help you save money. And I know some people are like kind of rolling their eyes. Yeah, well, whatever, it can't be that much. Well, it is. So almost anything you cook yourself is going to be cheaper than anything you can buy from a restaurant.
Especially nowadays.
Especially nowadays. And we've talked about that before on the show too. But the website CNET actually ran some numbers on how much you could save on some popular restaurant dishes versus making it yourself. And they found that you can save at least 36%. And in some cases, the savings were actually closer to 70%. That's not small savings, right?
Oh, especially if you want to make a steak or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a huge, huge, huge way to save money. And if you want to save even more money, you can kind of plan out what you want to eat during the week, and that will also help you save money on groceries because you're not buying things you won't use. So when you plan out your meals, you don't really have to worry about overbuying or purchasing too much of the same ingredient, right? Because you're like, oh, I'm going to make spaghetti. I'm going to make tacos. I'm going to make burgers. I'm going to make, tater tot hot dish. I'm going to make soup, right? You know exactly what you're making each day of the week, which, believe it or not, saves you a lot of money too. And so there was actually one woman in a Reader's Digest article claimed to save $500 a month by doing this, but most people claim around $100 a month they save by meal planning instead of just buying sporadically from the store, right? So, but the additional benefit to not only saving a lot of money through making your own meals and doing a little bit of meal planning ahead of time is that you can kind of skip the whole dialogue every night of what's for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? Tacos? No. Spaghetti? No. How about we go out to eat? That sounds better. Okay, because you spent 30 minutes trying to figure out what to eat, and then now you're just hungry. So
hungry and frustrated.
Hungry and frustrated with your significant other. Yes. Yeah. So meal plan, cook your own food. You're going to save a ton of money.
And what is this tater tot hot dish you speak of? I'm joking. I've never heard of it, of course.
I was like, are you from Minnesota?
I've probably eaten 500 or 600 pounds of it over the years. Gosh. Okay. We already have taken another break, Jenna. We'll zoom right back with more Good Money Moves after this quick break on News Talk 1340 KROC AM at 96.9 FM.
Good Money Moves continues in moments with Andy Brownell and Jenna Tobble from First Alliance Credit Union. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM. We're talking good money moves with Andy Brownell and Jenna Tobble from First Alliance Credit Union on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. Good Money Moves. I'm Andy Brownell with Jenna Tobble with First Alliance Credit Union, talking about preparing for winter, thinking in terms of finances and money.
Mm-hmm.
And we just got done talking about planning meals, making more meals at home, cooking. Mm-hmm. And, part of that, though, is in our busy lives, a lot of people don't feel they have enough time to make those dinners.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. And I would say that, you can really save some time by, again, doing some meal prep, even on the weekends, right? So if you are really dedicated to cutting down that grocery budget, this is a great opportunity to just prep. If you know what you're making, you can prep some vegetables, you can marinate some meat, you can, if you want to make your own Alfredo sauce, you can do that ahead of time, right? And you can also use relatively inexpensive appliances to help you cut down on these cook times as well, right? I mean, slow cookers.
I love slow cookers.
Generally very inexpensive, and the meals you can make in them are there are many, 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 many recipes for how to make things in a slow cooker. You can just throw the stuff in there in the morning and it'll be ready by the time you're done with work, right? The Instapot is a great option too. Air fryers have become very affordable and have quick cooking time. So putting a little bit of thought into, well, how can I make this a reality for me, and making sure you have the right equipment can help. But really, it's just spending a quick couple minutes figuring out, what meals are easiest to prepare in a short amount of time. I use Pinterest to look for recipes. I'll just kind of go into their little search and say, easy weeknight meals with beef or with chicken, and you'll get so many ideas you don't eat. There's no way you could make them all. There's so many ideas. So yeah, I mean, it's just, again, just like making a budget, it's like building that into your normal routine and making it a habit.
You have to do that planning. I have the air fryer, and people don't believe me, but a burger on the air fryer is actually, I know this is blasphemy when I say it, is better than on the grill outside.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Yes. Yes, I love my air fryer.
And the slow cookers, I love slow cookers, except for when you make the food on the weekend in the slow cooker, because it's like torture the whole day.
And you can smell it all day.
How good it's going to be the whole day.
Yes, exactly.
Is it done yet? Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. So planning, right? Mm-hmm. Planning the meals. Do you have any other ways we can financially prepare for winter?
Yes. So we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I'm going to reiterate it because it is so, so important to managing your winter spending. And that is creating that holiday spending plan, right? And really building a holiday spending plan is it's an ideal way to figure out how much you'll have to spend over the holiday season for holiday related festivities, right? And even better, it can help you control that spending. And if you're comfortable with how much you're spending in one area, that's great. If you're uncomfortable, you can kind of move some money around, right? But really, it just gives you time to plan ahead for all of those holiday expenses that are coming your way. And you can use that holiday spending plan for future years, which means you're able to start saving money earlier, or you're able to really just make those holidays a little bit less stressful financially overall, because you are now in control of how much you're spending on what and for why.
That's what I like, the reduction of stress.
Mm-hmm.
Because that whole last minute crunch to get all these gifts and cover all your bases is too much anxiety tied to it. But
exactly.
When we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know if we talked about this part of it, but I was thinking about it. And especially, you have the kids, and usually, you want to get them probably the more expensive gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say do that part of the planning first.
Yeah.
So what are the urchins going to get, and how much I'm going to spend on the urchins, and then you'll have this much left over to take care of everybody else.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, prioritize it however you need to, right? If you don't have a lot of kids in your life, you maybe go travel and you want to put all your money into a nice hotel stay for the week. Or, if you've got a lot of nieces and nephews that you like to dote on, but don't necessarily have any kids of your own, that's fine too. It's really what works for you. What do you like to do on the holidays? What do you want to make sure that you have enough money to do those things and cover those expenses without feeling kind of a holiday hangover financially, so to speak, come January.
Great information, as always, Jenna. And as always, I feel we just kind of scraped the surface of the topic, especially when you're talking about, getting your home ready and your car ready for winter.
Yeah.
So any place else we can go to find out about making good money moves?
Yeah, absolutely. I always encourage our listeners to visit our website, firstalliancecu.com. You can subscribe to our blog. We release new financial tips and advice every week. You can go back and listen to past episodes of this show at firstalliancecu.com/podcast or on krocnews.com. You can subscribe to Good Money Moves on Apple, Google, and Spotify podcasts. And if you love this show, please leave us a review. If you have a financial topic or a question you would like covered on Good Money Moves, please send me an email at marketing@firstalliancecu.com. And of course, I strongly encourage you to reach out to our team at First Alliance Credit Union. They are here to help you start making good money moves today.
That's First Alliance Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA and an equal housing lender. All right, Jenna, thank you so much. And we'll chat again next week with another episode of Good Money Moves.
Absolutely.
Again, Good Money Moves on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.